This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel scum.
Here today, he's moving away. He's moving from location to location. He is without the internet. That's what it is. But we have someone joining us today. This is his annual trip to the Rebel Scum Podcast. We've got Darth Ward of Fett is here. Is that a mug? Is that the mug from Walmart? I muted your mic, Rob. This is Darth Ward. Rob's here. You
don't want to hear me speak. You just want to see the mug. Let's be honest. That's why you invited me on here. You wanted to see the mug. I didn't even invite
you on. You just showed up. You hacked the link to the show. This is Unleashed. We have Girls with Sabers are here. Mr. Rez and Stan Solo. Stan Solo just put his daughter to bed. Mr. Rez is hey yo, and the Girls with Sabers. By the way, we're doing ranking Star Wars. Girls with Sabers sent their list, and I'm not gonna lie, the list was surprising. Not as surprising as yours, Rob.
Yeah, mine's not surprising because I have not sent it in yet. That's why it's super surprising.
I'm not gonna say who's. I've got a lot of them in. I think we're gonna end up around 30 or so lists. Well, we include.
Is that more than we had like last year?
It's around the same, maybe a little less. I think I went to less people. I was like, it's too. Okay. The math starts getting too complicated. But I guess I could spoil a bit of the ranking show and just tell you right now that The Last Jedi. Look, if you really like or hate The Last Jedi, hold on, I gotta move my mic. If you really like hate The Last Jedi and you haven't submitted your ranking yet, I'm gonna suggest that you submit it because it will be. I'm pretty confident that if it just goes the way it's gonna go, I'm not gonna say where, but it's cemented. Where it's gonna land is very much cemented. It's like there's two spots that I can't see it. Rez just said spoilers. I can't see it moving from those two spots. So if you want to push that needle, you're gonna have to put it in. You put it in. I did get one. I won't say who it was, but they said Last Jedi #1. Everything else last, so that it pushes it up a little bit higher.
Everything else is just tied.
Everything else is tied for last, but the Last Jedi is up there. I did kind of the same. Fantasia's doing his Marvel ranking on Infinity Rewatch. They're doing a ranking, and I haven't seen 3 Marvel movies, I want to say, and I said I just either make them last or give the average of everybody else's for those ones. So here we go. Oh, Rez is going to submit his ASAP. It's difficult. I will say, Rez, look. Stan Solo is asking who the next challenger to take Rob's trivia crown is.
I think Darth Ward might have retired from that. I feel like the pandemic beat down Darth Ward's pride and his character a little bit. But who knows? Maybe he'll come out of retirement one day.
My I can't click on words. I can't click on my screen anymore. So I can't put the graphic on the screen. So I don't know. I think you got to come out of retirement. Just for the record, it was not Girls with Sabers who said it. No, it definitely was not Girls with Sabers who said that. I'm not going to say who it was. It was no one. It was not Girls with Sabers. So they submitted.
Maybe I'll surprise you. Maybe I'll do the exact same thing. Maybe it'll be Last Jedi #1 and everything else is second. If it was opposite day. That's what would happen for me.
But to Rez's point about being worried, don't overthink the list because first of all, this whole thing is just it's meaningless. It's just for fun. And secondly, because there's 30 of them combined, it's not and it's all anonymous. I'm the only one that knows anyone's results, anyone's list. I wouldn't overthink. I know a lot of people say mine changes every day. So I was like, so pick the day that you want to send it, and I'll include it. And they all get added together, and that's how the list comes up. So we call it the definitive ranking list, but it's just for fun, and don't overthink it. It's fun to do this year. This year's fun because this is the second year in a row we haven't had a new movie, and so that hasn't pushed the needle at all. I see my computer is trying to catch up with the putting stuff on the screen now.
I like that symbol. What is that? Like girls with sabers.
That's the hands up, like the praise.
Oh, I thought it was a nutcracker for a second.
Everything is just starting to show up on the screen now. But I don't know what's going to... We are the balanced stand. So Stan and Girls with Sabers are on different ends of the Star Wars. But it's fun. Anyway, it's fun. They're movies. We're doing, I guess, 11 movies. I've been saying 10, but there's 11 live-action theatrical movies. I can't do math, so some people have forgotten. Actually, Girls with Sabers pointed out that they're like, do we include Solo? Are you including Solo on that list? Okay, I don't know. Things are just starting to show up on the screen now.
I'll give the people that are listening or watching right now a heads up with my list, because I don't think my list has changed in like 2 or 3 years. Obviously, Rise of Skywalker came out, so that had to be put somewhere. But I will say this:
that's number one on everybody's list.
That's number one on everybody's list. Absolutely.
Everybody's list is number one.
Except for that person that put Last Jedi and everything else.
Yes.
Was tied. Yeah. But I will say, I didn't even told you this, James, but it was when I was sequestered in a nice little hotel in Winnipeg. I watched one Star Wars movie. I watched multiple Star Wars movies, but there was one in particular when I watched it. And I don't know if I was just in the right mood or something like that, but suddenly the ranking and what I thought about this movie just elevated a whole lot. So I think there will be some changes on my list when I finally send it in. That's all I'm going to say.
Solo.
Maybe I cannot confirm or deny.
You're talking about Solo because I mentioned Solo and then you had to tell me that little anecdote. So it's got to be Solo.
For all you know, it could be Attack of the Clones. But Attack of the Clones could be my favorite Star Wars movie now.
Empire is number one, says Rez. He's, Empire and Return of the Jedi are always like the 1, 2. What's going to be 1, what's going to be 2.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. Your number one is anyway. Patreon. If you want to be on the ranking show, send us an email, rebelscumbags@gmail.com, and we will put you on the show, and you can talk about a movie and why you put it, where you put it on your list, maybe, and then how you feel about it being on the actual list, which I'm going to tell you will probably disappoint.
One day I hope the holiday special's on there. One day I hope the holiday special is on there.
Well, Girls with Sabers actually asked if TV stuff counted, and it's almost at the point where, like, do we include should Mandalorian season 1 be a movie and season 2 be should we include everybody? No, we'll stick with the movies. I
agree with you about that, James, but I do think that maybe after next year or maybe even the year after, it might even be now with Book of Boba Fett coming out and with Ahsoka coming out and Cassian Andor coming out, maybe there could be a separate one of just TV shows.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
we could just rank some TV shows on their own.
Yeah. I think right now Marvel could probably get away with that. We'll probably look into that for sure because there's so much going on. But we should get into our topic because we've been talking for 8 minutes and 47 seconds. We should get into what we're talking about today. And this is I just saw some posts whatever come online. And now it's if you Google it, I Googled pictures of Star Wars. You can barely see it though. I need to put the
I got to squint a little bit to see it.
Yeah, you got it. This is Battlefront 2. There's nothing here that you want to see. That's a female Thrawn, I think. Is that a character that I don't know about? Ahsoka series. Oh, that time. Okay. Anyway, this is nothing. That has nothing to do with anything. But I saw...
or everything to do with everything.
Maybe.
Well, you decide, viewers.
I believe it was... this is just a rumor. I don't even think there's any truth to this, but I think it was Grace Randolph tweeted or something, and think what you want about Grace Randolph, but this has stirred the pot once again. She's great at that, and saying that Favreau and Filoni will be doing a Star Wars feature film. I believe a feature film. I don't think it would be a Disney Plus one, but we'll say feature film for it. And I saw it, and now if you Google Star Wars, that seems to be popping up at least on my end, it seems to be popping up when I put it in. So I thought this would be a topic to talk about. And you're a huge Mandalorian fan. You did the Mandalorian after show for season 1. So we've got to, let's talk about this, the potential of it, what it could mean for Star Wars. And even if, do we think that this is a thing? So Rob, first thoughts, Favreau, Filoni, would you be on board with if they came out and they said they are making a Star Wars movie?
I mean, I think every single person watching right now knows what my answer is to that, because I freaking love The Mandalorian. I think it's an amazing show. It's one of the best things that Star Wars has done in a very, very long time, in my opinion. And bringing that to an actual movie, I mean, why not? Like, it would obviously have to depend a little bit about what the story would be, but it's like right away, right off the bat, I just hear that you're doing one, I'm 100% in. I'm completely in. But if they're suddenly like doing the story of Jar Jar Binks, then I'd be like, okay, that's interesting. But if that's what the movie is, but I'm sure these guys would find a great way to do it. But right off the bat, yes, I'm 100% in on these two doing a movie.
I'd be okay with it. I mean, I think I'd be okay with basically anybody doing a movie. My issue is, and it hasn't been announced, but I don't want to hear anything. I just want this thing to happen, right? Like, I feel like the Mandalorian is a great example where the Mandalorian just kind of happened. There wasn't like a build-up. It was just like, by the way, we're shooting this show called The Mandalorian and it's going to launch Disney Plus. What? All right, cool. Whereas, they keep announcing these movies and they never happen. And I was talking to you the other day. It's like, Star Wars is now worse than DC was at the height of we're announcing everything, and then nothing would happen. But now that's how Star Wars feels. I feel like I can't trust anything that gets announced for Star Wars theatrically. I mean, they even did it. Rangers of the new range, whatever, the Ranger Republic, whatever that show is called. I can't remember. But like, even that,
Jellystone National Park, right? Rangers.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Now that one, maybe it was the what's her face that got, I don't even know. But now Kathleen Kennedy is saying, we didn't really have anything for it. What? Like, then why did you announce it? Why was there a big deal made about it if you have nothing? And then you look at, like, it was so exciting to see all that stuff that they announced, and then we're a year later and we've seen a sizzle reel of Obi-Wan. We haven't seen anything new of Andor, except we heard it's coming out in Q2. And Book of Boba Fett wasn't even on that announcement. And that's the only thing that we're getting. Like, nothing else is happened. Well, Acolyte's kind of there and Visions happened. We haven't heard, there's so many empty promises made. I'd rather them just kind of like shut the door, do your job. And when it's ready for me to view, to watch, enjoy what you've done, then let me know about it. Until then, you've got my money. You don't have to like dangle the carrot in front of me. I'm there already. I don't need it. So if they do, Rex is giving his list. Sorry, Rex is giving his list.
Oh, is he giving it away?
No,
Don't give away the gold, buddy. Don't give it away.
But, my whole thing is like, if it happens, that's great. If it doesn't happen, that's don't tell me. And then you have Stan Slow with a Salacious Crumb, Jerry Springer style talk show sitting and counting. I'd watch that. Look, Favreau and Filoni have obviously they've knocked it out of the park with The Mandalorian. Not every episode has been spectacular, but it's definitely captured the imagination of Star Wars fans, like new and old. I think people, it might not be everyone's favorite, but everyone seems to enjoy The Mandalorian on some level, right? Like, no one absolutely despises the show. I think everybody's super excited for Ahsoka. I think that's one thing that they've done best, is the connective tissue with it all. And I think what I really need, though, and I really like that, I appreciated that they were connecting to the sequels, because I think we need to connect more to the prequels and the sequels. We're so obsessed, well, not us, but the storytellers are so obsessed with the original trilogy that we need to remember that is a moment of time, and there's a moment of time before that, and there's a moment of time after that. And I think it's cool that they're doing this High Republic, but I think we've got to remember that there's a moment of time after all this. And whether you follow Rey, Finn, Poe, Kyle, well, if you could bring Ben Solo back, but whether you follow them or not, I think we need to get past that era. We need to continue on that trajectory. That's where I would like to see Star Wars go. I love that TV is in this era. I think it makes sense. It's well known. It's established. We're in there. It's a little bit different from what we saw, but I just think theatrically, I think whatever they do, we've got to go forward. It doesn't have to be episode 10, but we need to push it ahead. And I said to Brock on last week's podcast, I said, we need a Ghostbusters Afterlife Star Wars movie where it's like, it's not episode 10. It's not part 3. It's a bridge that'll get you from here to here. And it's one that kind of reminds you of what you liked about it, but in a different viewpoint of what the franchise is, and just kind of like take it and then be like, hey, remember you like Star Wars? Here's more Star Wars. And then don't, I know at Ghostbusters, they put the spoilers, the world is in peril, but like Star Wars, we don't need the galaxy in peril yet. Let's hold off and get there. And whatever it is, if Favreau and Filoni are doing this, Rob, they need to know why they're making the movie.
Oh, 100%. And they have to have their story and whatnot, and then take it from there. I mean, I understand like the skepticism about like, another project, another movie is being announced after, all the problems that they've had, like, Patty Jenkins and all the other problems with directors that they've had. I think the thing that makes this one a little bit different is that at least it's Favreau and Filoni, somebody that Kennedy has already worked with for 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. So they already know like how each other work and stuff like that. So I think I would hope that there's a lot of trust there between those parties now. So I think that's what gives me a little bit more hope that this thing might actually happen. It's just, a question as to, if it is episode 10, then, maybe they'll be a little bit more hands-on as opposed to with something like Mandalorian. Maybe they were okay with, just leaving Favreau and Filoni to do their thing and let them do it. But I mean, the fact that Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy allowed them to take Luke Skywalker. Spoilers alert for anybody that's not seen the season finale of season 2 finale, I should say, of The Mandalorian. But the fact that they brought in Luke Skywalker, brought back Mark Hamill, that gives me a lot of hope there too, that they were just not like, oh no, you can't use Luke for this. They were saying, okay, you use Luke and we're going to trust you with it. And I mean, I think once again, like, I think this is a little bit different in this case. This could be, if this is officially announced at some point, like, it's just a rumor now. It's just been a rumor for a few days, a handful of days that's been a rumor for, right? But, as like, the days go by and the weeks go by and possibly even months go by, and this is officially announced by Lucasfilm, I will feel a little bit more confident about it than, if they announce that, whoever, like somebody from the Marvel universe, whether it's Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie, finally, like, getting a little more details on it, I'd be more confident about this actually seeing the light of day versus something like Taika Waititi's movie.
I don't even think the Waititi thing's happening.
You don't think it's going to happen? No. Yeah.
I mean, it might, but right now. So Stencil just said Wilson isn't a movie or a trilogy. There's no real news. It's the rumor of a movie. Rob, the one thing with Favreau and Filoni is Favreau didn't direct an episode of that show until season 2.
Right.
And Filoni did 1 episode in season 1 and 1 in season 2, or 2 in season
2 in season 1.
Yeah. Okay.
2 in season 1 and then 1 in season 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the Ahsoka episode in season 2.
Yeah, and the thing is I think what they need to transfer is what they've been doing with this show, and they need to maybe transfer that into the movies. And that is, because everyone likes to bring up Feige, right? Kevin Feige's the greatest. But Kevin Feige is a movie version of a showrunner, or a TV showrunner, right? And he's got all these parts, and maybe it's a little bit more than a showrunner because it's still a showrunner. Star Wars,
I think it's fair to say. Very fair to say.
Yeah, Star Wars has been treated like movie, but what George Lucas seemed to be going for, the serialization of it, is more of a TV show. And I think what Favreau, Filoni, and company have done so well with the Mandalorian is that is what Star Wars is. That's what kind of what George Lucas is doing with Star Wars. Only they actually got to do it as a TV show and weekly, and maybe they need to transfer that philosophy into the movies and be like, this isn't a movie, because Star Wars, we can all love it, and it's Solo could be a one-off, Rogue One could be a one-off, but Rogue One, neither one of them are even one-offs because they take place in the center of the stories that we already know, especially Rogue One. So I just think, take the philosophy of what they're doing on the TV side, of the streaming side, and bring that to the theater. And maybe if it takes having people who understand the property as much as they do, or it might not even be an understanding. I know Filoni understands a lot, but look, if you're telling me that they were both like Cobb Vanth needs to be in this, that's baloney. They had the character, and then I feel like there was a lot they respect the material is what I'm getting at. Whereas they were like, well, we're just going to make our own character up who has the Boba Fett costume. No, because somebody already had that in a book. And as minor as that is, it's a thing and it exists and you might as well use it. And so if they're going to bring that philosophy and that thought process to the films, I say, and my opinion means a lot to Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Chapek, obviously. I can't see it. I can see it failing, but I can't see it failing. I think, it might be at this point in time your best bet to figure out what the future of Star Wars theatrically is.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it's like, especially that, you mentioned something like Cobb Vanth, right? And I look at these two guys, and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, right? You look at, just when you watch something like the making of the Mandalorian stuff, right? Favreau comes off to me as like, he loves Star Wars. He loves it so much, but he takes it from a point of view as like slightly more casual / hardcore fan, right? Like he's not like fully into all the things and all the side canon pieces. Filoni has that diehard mentality where he knows, every single little bit of Star Wars. He knows all these characters and stuff like that. So when you look at something like Cobb Vanth, I could see like, an idea like that probably came from Favreau suggesting that they have a character like this that has the armor, and then Filoni specifically says that it's Cobb Vanth. That's like where their like partnership works so well, where it's like Favreau can make this thing accessible to fans that aren't even like diehard fans of Star Wars, right? Like that's the thing. Like with Mandalorian, it's like you have people that like Star Wars watching it and stuff like that. But now I'm hearing some music.
That's just you. There's no music.
That's me. Okay, all right, never mind then.
Are you listening to Mariah Carey's Christmas?
I guess I'm listening to that. I don't even know what it could be, but I'll try to continue.
Am I sending music? Hold on, I got Cozy Christmas Coffee Shop. No, it's paused. I'm not even joking.
A true test of fate.
I
think that's what it is.
Christmas Coffee Shop.
Oh, is that what I'm watching?
Well, that's this now because I've been writing like these Christmas stories. So I just put that on in the background while I'm writing. Anyway, Rez is laughing now. Can you guys, Rez, Stan? Can you guys hear? No, it's not. Whatever. Who cares?
Are they hearing this as well?
I don't know.
Maybe it's just me.
We'll
I'm hearing this very loud, and it's like whispers now. I'm hearing.
I like to think somebody's hacked in.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be funny. I got literally nothing else open, but this is kind of funny. Not too.
Zero music. Yeah, I'm not hearing music in it. So, Rob, it's either on your end or in your head. You're going a little crazy, Rob.
I am going a little crazy. It completely took me out of it, and I don't know what else it could be because I have nothing else open. Oh well, this is pretty funny.
You know what I was because I know like the Rian Johnson trilogy might be shelved, it might not be. Who cares at this? Like, who cares? It's been 4 years. I think we can all move on from it. However, I think maybe that would be earned. But I think if they can figure out what Star Wars is and get us past Episode 9 and continue on with some kind of continuity, I think that gives them like permission, and they've earned now to kind of go around the galaxy at any time they want and tell any story they want. But I think they need to get their feet securely planted on the ground and be successful with that. Whether it's, but it needs to be, and there needs to be something that connects it to Rey, Finn, Poe, Luke, Han, all that. When they could do that successfully and continue successfully and give us a through line from there, then I think they can do more spin-offs and one-offs. But if they're just going to do Rogue Squadron, Taika Waititi, this, that, it's all Kevin Feige, right? It's just all of a sudden it's like, well, what's Star Wars now? Just random thoughts in the air. And then one thing that Star Wars was a through line. It was always this through line, whether it was, Luke, Leia, Han, Han and Leia's kids, Anakin and Padme, C-3PO and R2, Ewoks, whatever it was. There was always this through line that connected everything together. And if you get away from that, you lose sight of what this property is, and all of a sudden you're making Valerian. You're making like just a random sci-fi movie? It's Dune. You're just making Dune, which can be fine, but why do Star Wars? Why not do something else? And I think for me, that's what they need to figure out is what is Star Wars? What is their Star Wars? Give us that trajectory, that through line, and then go bugger off and do whatever you want all around it. But that is the center of your universe. Yeah, good point. Stan Solo says, I would love a completely new Favreau Star Wars story based around a young Jedi story, but at the same time completely detached from all other movies.
James, I'll be honest. I'm going to log back out of here and then come right back, okay? Because I'm still hearing this sound of some.
Rob, I just kicked Rob out. I didn't realize his mic would turn off when I did that, so he's out of here. Rob will be back. Since also is good for him. Zero whispers for that one, but yes. So that's the way I'm seeing it. Is you have to figure out what Star Wars is, and until you figure out what Star Wars is, you haven't earned the right to play around in that. And I think the novels, they have earned that right, and that's why they could do High Republic. But I think that the movies, even though we've gotten 5, they decided to kind of end what they were doing at 9. Hashtag Rob's out. Let's do it. Andrew's not canon and Rob's out. We're done. We will move on from here. That's the way I see it. I don't know how you guys feel. You should, let me know in the comments and the chat and everything to figure out your perspective on it. And I think ultimately it doesn't matter what I say or what you say, but it's good to think about it. And it's just, I don't even know if Star Wars needs course correcting, but theatrically they've ended the Skywalker saga. So realistically, there's nowhere to go from there, right? Like they've done what they said they would do, and now they've ended it, which I always thought was weird. Like, why do that? But they did it, and so here we are waiting on not only whatever the next Star Wars film is, but also Rob to return. And they've succeeded on TV. We've got Mandalorian season 2, season 3 they're shooting season 3 now. Book of Boba Fett, it's coming out in just a few short weeks, the 29th. So it's 26, 27 days from now, we're getting the Book of Boba Fett. Mr. If they could pull off a Star Wars musical, I am all in. By the way, Jingle Jangle on Netflix, little Christmas movie you want to check out. Forrest Whitaker's in it. And I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Rez, for claiming. Actually, Star Wars, it kind of is claymation. Half of it is claymation. You figure out where you're going, but they've succeeded on TV, and I think right now just focus on that until there's a breakthrough on the film side. And if Favreau and Filoni have an idea for a film, but not just a one-off, I think it needs to be a whole, at least a trilogy, but it has to be something that you can continue, because I think what people like about Star Wars is the continuation of it. Like everyone loves Rogue One, but what do they love about Rogue One? Darth Vader hallway scene, and then the ending connects it right to right to A New Hope, right? It just goes right into a movie that we know and that we feel comfortable with it. And that's where that's where we're going to go. Hashtag, where's Rob? That's a good question. We've been doing this for 30 minutes. I told Rob it would only take a half hour. He probably left. He was working all day today. He decided to do this as a favor because we wanted to talk about it. I think Favreau and Filoni makes sense to do a movie, but again, it only makes sense if they have something there. Favreau had The Mandalorian, and it wasn't overnight that they made The Mandalorian. If you remember at Star Wars Celebration, he said that he wrote a script and he sent it to Filoni. Filoni would right now just send it back. And this went on for a while. If they have a movie, I kind of hope that they put that care and dedication into it. And I've been a fan of Favreau forever now. God, it's like 20 whatever years. Swingers, Made is one of my, everyone knows Made is one of my favorite movies. And then Elf is just, the fact that he did Elf is incredible. But I do believe that whatever he would do in Star Wars next would, he would put the thought, care, and determination into it as he did with The Mandalorian. And that's all I'm going to say. This, again, is just a rumor and speculation, and I don't even know if I believe it. I don't even know if I care to believe it right now. Like, when a trailer comes out that shows me, hey, look, this is a thing, then I'll believe it. But until then, I won't. But we got Book of Boba Fett coming. We're going to be doing a Book of Boba Fett roundtable coming up later this month. We're hoping to do some Book of Boba Fett wrap-up shows, which will probably go on like Fridays or something after they come out, so you get a couple of days to watch and then digest them. Or maybe we'll do it the day of. I don't know. And then, the week between Christmas and New Year's, I'm hoping to do something cool. I think it's cool. Something fun that week, just like really low-key. But just something you guys can just sit back and listen and enjoy during that time, whenever that blur week when the world kind of shuts down for 7 days. I'm gonna leave on this one right here. Rob is the new Andrew. I'm gonna bring Rob's back. Rob, I'm just wrapping up right now. Rob is the new Andrew. What was the music? Was your mom listening to some music?
It was not music at all. I don't know what it was. Apparently, I had a tab open that I could not see, but I basically just shut everything down, and finally it stopped. It was like a weird trailer of some kind. It was a foreign language trailer. Best I could say that it was Hindu or something like that. I have no idea where it came from. It was I was watching YouTube, so it's almost like before I came on over here, YouTube kept playing in the background, and then suddenly this came on. I have no idea. Let's hope it doesn't happen again, though.
Well, it probably will. I just made a mistake. But Rob, I was wrapping up, so we're going to say goodbye.
Oh,
I told you a half hour. Yeah, it's been 33 minutes. We said a half hour. Is there anything else you want to add? Like anything else you want to say to it?
Yeah, like my only thing would be like remaining. It's like, obviously, like for a while, people have been like unsure about Kathleen Kennedy and wanting her to possibly go away, like some fans in that case, right? But recently she also signed her new 3-year contract, and Favreau and Filoni were two of those guys that they wanted them to take over her spot, right, for running Lucasfilm. And even though you're not going to get that, you are still going to get 3 collaborators possibly working on a new project that could lead to a really great Star Wars movie, I think. And just the fact that the way Filoni and Favreau just collaborate together on something like The Mandalorian, I think it's really special. And I hope that continues with more than just The Mandalorian and into the future. I hope we actually get this movie officially announced. And
don't forget, Kathleen Kennedy is the reason why we have The Mandalorian and Favreau in the universe. But anyway, Rob, thanks for joining. Hopefully you come. This is your annual visit now. You used to be here all the time. Now you've been like, you're too good for us, and you leave. So now you're back. Yeah, don't worry. You will see more of me in the future, I think. I'm gonna give it the the Mandalorian seal of approval. Show everyone the Death Star light. That's a really cool light. Oh, the Death Star light. Yeah, I think somebody that might be on this podcast. Don't break it. It just went out.
No, it's
Oh,
still going.
It didn't go out. Look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh, is that Death
Still changing
Star?
colors.
Ooh, Death Star. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Rob. Maybe we'll see you by the end of the year. I have no idea.
Maybe. But I'm going to say yes.
Good. We'll be back. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Rez. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for watching, commenting, letting us know what you think in the comments below. And until next time, may the force of others be with you.
Always.
Scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.